All right, everybody, welcome to today's orientation for middle school students. So I just want to welcome you to your first day of school. My name is Mrs. Katrina Lane. I am the department chair for middle school. So you won't have me as your teachers, but you will hear from me every now and again through email, or we might have a chat throughout the semester. In today's orientation, I want to just run through kind of everything you need to know to get started in your online school. So I'll show you how to find your teacher names, contacts, where to get all their information. We'll take a full tour of your classroom. So we'll go in online and we'll look through everything so you can ask questions. We'll look at some kind of examples of assignments and gradings and policy and things you need to know around the grading. And of course, any questions you have. So also in the room today, as you can see in the participants section, is Mr. Corey Hurst. So he will be able to answer any questions you have. So just pop them in the chat box as you think of them, and we'll answer them as we go. Okay? Just some guidelines for communicating in the online environment. Is this your first time coming to an online school, or have you guys used an online school before? Yeah, first time? It is probably for most students who are joining. So it's something new, it's something different. We try and keep it kind of like a regular school, but it's just done a lot at home and online. But we do have some guidelines for working in the online environment. So that's really important to follow so that everybody is in a safe and happy environment. So when you're using the chat box, which you guys are using already, which is fabulous, just make sure that you're using appropriate language, you're speaking correctly and respectfully for your other students and classmates and your teacher. And you're using it at an appropriate time, but you're not trying to be distracting. Excuse me. And also that goes for the whiteboard tools as well. I'll give you the whiteboard tools in a few minutes. And you just need to, you guys are older students now, so you should be able to use it in a nice, respectful way where you're not writing over other students. It does happen sometimes by mistake or accident, but you're not using it inappropriately. Also, no personal information in the chat box. So what I mean by personal information would be email addresses, phone numbers, Skype information, gaming information. So nothing of a personal nature in the chat box. Also, no external links in the chat box. If you do have something you want to share with the teacher, you can email it to them or send them a Google Chat message, but nothing in your classroom chat box, okay? And then finally, if you're using the webcam, you won't be using it in today's session, but you might use it in some of your classes. Just make sure you're dressed appropriately, behave appropriately, and use appropriate language. Okay, so all of these tools that you have in your online classroom are privileges. If you're not using them correctly, they may be removed from you and you may even be removed from the classroom. Okay? Your teachers will go through these again at the beginning of your Class Connects as well. So I want to just introduce you to where you are right now. So this is called the Big Blue Button. So this is your online classroom. You have your online school, which is Canvas, which we'll look at in a little bit, but this is where you will have your online lessons and you might meet with your teachers one-to-one. So Big Blue Button, sometimes just BBB by teachers, is this platform that you're in right now. So down the left-hand side, you can see everybody in the participants box. So this is everybody who's in the classroom today. In the middle, you have the chat box. Which people have been using already, which is great. And then you have your slides to the right, the main section of the board with the camera just above it. Okay. Just one feature I wanted to show you before we moved on is your status icon. So over in the participants box, you can see you either have, I think most of the students have circles, and you can see your initials in that circle. So if you click on that, so it'll be here, the A. If you click on that square or circle, you'll see it say set status. Click on set status, and then you can just pick any status. So maybe give me a thumbs up if you're new to online schooling. Give me a confused face if you haven't started doing anything yet and you're not really sure, or a happy face, or any of your statuses. Yeah, you're not sure yet, but that's okay. We'll help you out today. So just give me any status, just so I can see that you know where they are. Two of the statuses that you might use quite regularly would be away and raise. So away is a really good one to pop up beside your name if you need to go away from your laptop at any point during a lesson. So you might need to answer the door, you might need a glass of water, you might need to go to the bathroom. That's all fine. But if you pop up the away, I'll just put it on my one right now, the teacher knows that you're gone and they're not talking to themselves. They're not asking you questions when you're not there. So it just lets the teacher know that you've just stepped away for a minute. And then to remove that status, you can just click on it again and clear status. And it's the same for raise your hand, if you want to raise your hand and ask a question, because you might want to use the microphone if it's a long question. You can pop it in the chat box, of course, but if you want to use the microphone, you don't want to interrupt the teacher, so you might raise your hand, and that's a nice one to use as well. Okay? Another feature that you'll use quite often in your classes will be the whiteboard tools. So in a moment, I will give you the whiteboard tools, and you'll see them pop up like this here along the right-hand side of your screen. The ones you'll use the most will be the one that says the hand. So when it opens up first, you get a hand. And if you move around the whiteboard, you'll see your name. So that's just handy for pointing out things that might be showing on the screen. But you'll also use the pencil and maybe the line and maybe the text box as well. So those three you'll use the most. So I'm going to give you the whiteboard tools now. So you can see if you have your mouse there on the whiteboard, just move it around. You can see your name. And we'll just take 30 seconds and see if you can find any of the words in our word search. So have a look down through the words in the list and see if you can find them in the word search, and just use your pencil or your line to, there you go, find the words. And it just shows you to use your pencil. It takes a little bit of practice, but you will get used to it after a little while. Excellent, guys. You guys are pros. Flying through them. Really good. And you can even see there Jessica made her line a little bit thicker, so you can work around with it a little bit. You can change the color and things like that. Okay, so I just wanted to introduce you to it today, and these are kind of activities you'll be doing in your lessons, and they're interactive, and you can see all the classmates are working together, which is really nice and really respectful. So well done, guys. All right, I'm taking it away. So now your privileges are gone, and so the teacher does have that control. So if you want to use the whiteboard tools, you might just need to ask. It depends on the teacher and how the classroom is run, just like in a regular school. Every teacher has their own little rules and things like that. All right, good job though. That was really good. Okay, so these are your teachers, and obviously it depends on what grade you're in and what courses you're taking. So you'll have a mixture of these teachers. So we have Miss Nadiana, who teaches French, along with Miss Louisa. We have Mr. Isaac, who teaches Spanish. And we have a new German teacher who I'm missing from the slide, who's Miss Davika. She is your German teacher if you're taking German. Then for English, we have Miss Jen, who teaches 6th grade English, Miss Irene, who teaches 7th grade English, and Miss Kyla, who teaches 8th grade English. And then we've Miss Shana, who teaches all of the middle school math courses, so 6 to 8. So everybody who's taking math will have Miss Shana. Miss Lee is unfortunately left us, so she's no longer with us. So actually, I'm going to jump over here to the very last teacher, Miss Jackie. Miss Jackie teaches 6th grade science, but she's also going to teach 7th and 8th grade history. So Miss Jackie is going to be teaching you for, depending on what grade you're in, 6th grade science or 7th and 8th grade history. Back to Mr. Corey Hurst, who teaches 6th grade history. And then we have Miss Vladka, who teaches 7th and 8th grade science. Okay, so as I said, depending on what grade you're in, what courses you're taking, you'll have a mixture of some of these teachers. I will show you in the online school where to find out who your teacher is, what their name is, and how to contact them. But this is some of the ways you can contact your teachers. We have Google Chat, phone, you can have a phone conversation, you can work in live help, which I'll explain in a moment, and by email, which I'll show you once we get into the classroom. Have you guys used Google Chat before? Or is it something new? show you where it is as well in a moment. But just want to see who's used it before. It's like a Skype. If you use Skype, it's a quick messaging service. It's really easy to chat to your teachers. Okay, so it's new for most of you, so I'll show you exactly where to find it as well. You must talk to your teachers every month, okay? But it can be a quick conversation on Google Chat, but it needs to be live. So if you're getting emails from your teachers, I would always recommend that you reply even with a thank you or yeah, no problem or understand. It doesn't have to be a long email, but just reply so they know you've read them. Or if they send you a check-in message on Google Chat and just say, want to see how you're doing, it's always nice to reply. It doesn't have to be a long conversation, but you do need to be talking to your teachers every month, okay, and checking in with them. For your academic advisor, and the academic advisors have their own orientation after this one. You will have either I think most of you guys actually will have Miss Wendy as your academic advisor or Miss Laura for your academic advisor this semester. So for your academic advisor, they're your kind of go-to person who will answer all your questions, helps you get started, things like that. But they will check in with you for a longer once a month. So they'll have a good 15-minute live conversation with you and just go through all your subjects, make sure you're on track, on target, help you make a catch-up plan if you're not, things like that. Okay? So there's lots of different people you'll be talking to throughout the month as you need them. So never feel like you're on your own. Okay, so this slide shows you Google Chat. So when you sign in the morning, you should sign into your Google. And when you do that, you'll see your initial that pops up here in the top right-hand corner. But beside that, you have these 9 dots. In the 9 dots, if you click on those, you'll find Google Chat. Click on Google Chat. New board will open up, or new tab. A little bit hard to see here because it's white on white, but over in the left-hand side, you'll see a little Find People or search bar. Pop in the name of the teacher there, so you could pop in Corey if you're looking for Corey Hurst, or you can even pop in Hurst. It doesn't matter if it's the first or the second name. So pop in the teacher name, it'll pop up, click on the name, and then you can send messages down the bottom of the screen and have a conversation with your teachers. What I would suggest is having this open when you're working in your school. So on one tab, have Google Chat, and then have your lessons on the next page. So you can jump over and back and send messages as you need to. But it's really easy to open if you don't. Okay, so before we jump into the online school, I just want to go through the difference between a Class Connect and a Live Help. Okay, because we try and keep everything like a brick and mortar school, but there's some differences, and I just want to go through those with you. So what is a Class Connect? A Class Connect is kind of in the name. It's a class. It's like a regular classroom. It's in here in Big Blue Button, but it's where your teachers will come in and teach a lesson. They'll have slides on the whiteboard, they'll have content, they'll have structure, and you can ask questions, but you will be going through a lesson. Okay, they take place every week. I'll show you where to find them in a moment. They're not mandatory, they are optional. Okay, so they're just if you need to go to that learning, you can go to all of them, but you don't have to go to them. The attendance won't be monitored. Okay, they're extra. All right. The topic and the content of the lesson will be in the title, so you can choose whether you're there, maybe you're not at that point yet and you can watch the recording, or if it's already taken place and you just want to review. Excuse me guys, sorry, my throat's a little hoarse. So that's your Class Connect, like a normal regular class. Then you also have Live Helps. Live Helps are a little bit different. Live Help is your help session. Okay, so in the help session, the teacher will be sitting in Big Blue Button in here, but they won't have anything planned for that hour. They wait for the students to come in and ask them questions. So you can come in for 2 minutes, you could come in for 10 minutes, you can come in for 20 minutes. But it's a one-to-one time that you can get to help just you and ask your questions with the teacher. So that's really, really good that you'll have that one-to-one time every week with your teacher. You can always send them Google Chat messages at any time. That's perfect. But if there's something you need to have a live conversation with them, Live Help is a good one. So why would you need to come in? So maybe you're confused about an assignment. You want to go over an essay that you submitted and you didn't do as well as you thought, and you want to talk about it and get ideas to make it better. You might not be able to do an assignment or an experiment or a lab, or you might not have the equipment and you just want to ask the teacher, what can you do? Okay. So these are all good ideas. If you want to just come in and have a chat with your teacher and see how she thinks you're doing and have a review of your course. So as I said, these are optional as well, and you can come in for whatever length of time you need. All right. So let's go into the school, and I'm going to show you all around the dashboard, all around the school, and I'll show you where to find these Class Connects and Live Helps as well. So let me just make sure I'm logged out because I want to start from the beginning. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. It is going to go a little strange at the beginning, so it's going to kind of look like there's a screen inside a screen inside a screen. And if you can see that strange look, actually I'm going to knock off my camera because it'll affect the internet. So can you see this weird screen inside a screen inside a screen inside a screen? That's normal, but let me know if you can see it and then I'll switch if everybody can see that. Perfect. We had a few glitches earlier in the last orientation for lower school where when I shared my screen, it was getting stuck. So if that happens, let me know and I'll go back and we'll figure it out. Okay, so now you should see Canvas logged out. That should be your screen. Before I log in, I want to just jump over to Google and I'll show you where to go to Google Chat. So sign in. I'm not signed in. I'm going to sign in. That's not who I want to sign in as. I'm signing. I have a lot, but you'll just have your student name in there. So I'm signing in as their test account. And now you can see I'm signed in as the test account because I have T as my initial. But beside that, you have your 9 dots. And then you go in there and find Google Chat. So once you have Google Chat, you can search for the name of the teacher. Oh, didn't click on it. Helps if I spell it correctly. So I've popped in Mr. Corey. So I'm looking for Mr. Corey first. And then the teacher will come up. And down the bottom here, I'll just move that out of the way. You can message Mr. Corey Hurst. So you can just say, hello, and send off a message. Okay. And then you can have a conversation there really quick. I'm having a problem with lesson 3.5. The link doesn't work. Or I'm having a problem with this question. I don't know how to answer it. Can you explain it to me? Things like that. Really quick questions. All right. So that's your Google Chat. You can keep that open at all times. And then on a separate tab, you can open up your school. So your school is iacademymiddleeast.instructure.com. Click on that, and you're going to log in. If you have already logged into Google, it will open straight up once you click on your name. All right. Now, I'm just going to jump back and make sure everybody can see me. Okay, good. No, I'm not the principal, but I am the department chair. So I'm the head of middle school. Okay, but I'm not the head of school. Just middle school. Perfect. So I think everybody could see my screen, so I'm going to keep going. But if you can't, pop it in the chat box, and then Mr. Hurst will let me know, and I can stop and go over anything again. So this is what you see when you come into your school, and you've probably seen this morning when you've logged on. But we're going to just run through the different sections. Down the left-hand side here is the blue bar, and that's our navigation bar. So in the navigation bar, you have at the top account, you'll see your name, and you can add a little picture in there if you wish. And you might have profile and settings. They would be the 2 areas that you might look at. But really, there's not much you need to do in account. After that, you have dashboard, which is this one. And that's how you get back to this if you move away. On the dashboard, you have all your course cards. So you should have an orientation, a homeroom, an office hour. And then you have your science, math, history, or whatever courses you're taking. Okay? And then those cards are like doors into your classroom. So we'll go in there in a few minutes. On the right-hand side, you have your to-do list, which has your assignments for that day that are due. And down the bottom, you will have a section called recent feedback that shows you feedback that you have gotten from your teachers on assignments you've already sent in. So you've submitted an assignment, teachers graded it, and there's your feedback. And there's a quick link to view grades there as well. Okay, so back to our navigation bar. Next, we have courses. This is just another way of finding your courses. There's a list of courses there. But if you notice on your dashboard you're missing a course, go in here and go to all courses. If you're missing a course off your dashboard, you might find it in here, but it just hasn't been starred yet. So if it's not starred, it doesn't show on the dashboard. So if you want to see it on your dashboard, just add a little star and it will pop up on your dashboard, okay? If you still cannot find the course in here, then you need to reach out to your academic advisor, Miss Laura or Miss Wendy, and they will help you, okay? After that, we have groups. Looks like 2 people. Excuse me. In the groups, you might have a group set up for your math, science, language arts, whatever groups the teachers have set up for you. In here, we have a social studies group, so I'm going to click on that. The groups are set up for your class connects. So there's nothing really in here. When you go into your group, it'll be pretty empty. But what you need to do is go to conferences. And the conferences will show the class connects for that class. So this is for your 6th grade social studies. So if you're taking 6th grade social studies, you'll see any new conference that's coming up or in progress, and then your old ones that have already taken place but have recordings. So if there's a new one coming up, it'll tell you the date and the time, what it's about. So this is a module 3 and it's about Egypt. Okay, so that's your topic. So if you're on module 3 and you're near Egypt, this would be a good lesson to go to. And over here on the right-hand side, you'll get a join button when it's live. Okay, it's not live now because it's yesterday's. So that's why there's no join button. It's finished. Once the conference is concluded, you can watch the recordings by just clicking on the title and go into video. And then all the recordings are there. So there's lots, as you can see. Okay. So that is your class connects. So they're your live lessons. I'll show you your live helps later on. After that, we have the calendar. Excuse me. Okay, so the calendar normally opens up in this view. The calendar shows you all the assignments that are due on that day. So you can see today you just have your orientation, but tomorrow you have quizzes that are due. Yours will probably look different because you have different courses, of course. And you probably do have some quizzes and assignments due today. So you probably have some lessons you need to start today. If there's too many lessons, if it's hard to see everything in this view, you can always click over to agenda view as well, and it shows it to you in a nice list format, which I think is nicer if you have a lot. For middle school, there is quite a few assignments every day, so it might be nice to look at it in this view as well. Okay, that's your choice. After that, we have the email box. And you can see here that this student has 19 unread emails. That is bad. You do not want to have 19 unread emails because you might be missing important information. You should check your emails every morning when you log in and just see if there's any important information that you need for that day or week or what's going on within the school. If you haven't read the email, it comes up as these red, green dots. And if you have, it disappears to an empty dot. Okay, so this week you should be getting emails from your teachers. So welcome to social studies. This one is from Mr. Hurst. And you get those from all your teachers and your academic advisor as well. Okay, other information might be about live helps, class connects, things like that. So it does give you important information. So for example, this is your math class connect timetable for the week. That's sent out by Miss Bush. Okay. So you should be checking those emails every day. If you want to send an email, over here in the middle of the screen, you have a compose a new message, or you can just hit reply. Okay. And then finally, in your navigation bar, you have this question mark. In the question mark, you have Canvas guides that helps you navigate the system, or there's guides on how to work in the system. But if you do all your orientation course, then you've probably seen most of the guides. And down here you have the student support help ticket. This is a really good option if you, find something in the course that's not working correctly, or maybe a link isn't working, or there's an error, and you want to send in a ticket to IT, you can just click on this link here and fill in the options, fill in the questions. All right. Okay, back to dashboard. You'll find that you go back to dashboard, it's kind of your home screen a lot. All right. Now I'm just going to come back and make sure I haven't missed anything. All right, now I think we're good. Okay, so let me just make sure I haven't missed anything in the slides. Okay, we're good. And so that's kind of the overview of your school. Now we're going to go back in and we're going to go into some courses and show you where to find your lessons and what you need to do every day. Okay, that's going to be our next one. I'll show you what's kind of in there for each one. That's fine. Okay, so back to our dashboard. And you can see here, we have orientation, homeroom, and office hours. Those three rooms are not courses, but they're also quite still important. So orientation, click into it, we'll have a look, goes through all the different things you need to know about Canvas and how to work and navigate your school. In modules, and this is where you find most of your content in all your lessons, you will come in here and get started, click on the first one, and then work your way down. You do need to do it in order because the sessions won't open until you've completed the one beforehand. Okay, and there's quite a few in there. It'll take a little while to run through your orientation, but that should be done today if possible. And then to come back out and go to your dashboard, you're just clicking on your little dashboard symbol. We'll pop into homeroom so you can have a little look. The homeroom shows you who your academic advisor is. And in this case, it's Miss Laura. Okay, so it gives you the information about your teacher and who they are. Yeah.
I need to do my thing. I'm gonna get pee. Okay, Cindy. In the minute you guys are done, tell Constance to call me. Okay. Wait, I need to.
Joseph, are you asking a question?
You can hear it?
You're breaking up, Joseph, so I might just get you to type it in the chat box, okay? Perfect. And welcome. Okay, so let me jump back in there. So I was just saying your academic advisor is your person who will kind of keep an overview of you and make sure that everything is going in order and you're working on target and on track. And they're your go-to person to ask questions. So if you have any questions today, go to your academic advisor and they will help answer them. So that's your homeroom. And then following that, you have your office hours. So your office hours is where you find your live helps. Okay, so you can see all your teachers are just listed in here. So you can see their times for live help and you can see their times for class connects. But to find the live helps, you go in here into conferences again, and you'll see new live helps. So this is the one we have right now. And then you'll see old ones. Okay, so when you go into your one, you're going to see a lot more because this test student only has orientation today. But you're going to see live helps for all your different courses. And you'll see the date and time that that live help takes place. They're all open, but if you go in, say if you went in now, there'd be no teacher in there. So you have to go in at the time when the teacher's there ready to answer your questions. So just have a look at that as well. So that's your office hour. So to find your live help times, you're going into office hour. But to find class next, you're going into
No?
Hello?
Yes? You have a question? Okay. 6th grade. Oh, thank you. I think I was muted. Thank you. Sorry, I'll go back and I'll just repeat that because I was on mute. So let's go back to the dashboard. So you start here and you click on the subject you want to go into. And we're going to go into social studies 6th grade. Okay. You'll only have the courses you're taking in your dashboard. So you just click on your social studies one. You come in here and you'll see the home page. You have a welcome to your course and you have your teacher contact information and a little bit of an overview for your course. What you'll do then is you can have a look today at your syllabus, but you won't really be in syllabus very often. But have a look today, gives you a description of the course. After that, and what you'll do every day will be go to modules. Okay, so in modules, you will find your lessons. It starts off at the top with resources, so it shows you materials you might need, class recording links, student guides for lockdown browser, and a really important piece of information is your 90-day pacing guide. I would suggest that you download your 90-day pacing guides and save them on your desktop or even print them off if you have a printer. Okay, and the reason for that is that on your 90-day pacing guides, it shows you what lesson you should be working on every day. So whether it's a lesson, a quiz, an assignment, everything you need to do for that day, and then you can tick it off and you'll stay on track. Okay, once you have all that done, you can start your lessons. So down here is the beginning of your lessons. 1.01, you'll click on your first lesson. It'll open up the slides. You can see them here, and you'll read down through your slides. One thing I want you to be aware of that you have to go through all your slides before you go to the next section. So you can see here, you're one of 6 slides. So you need to click through your slides, read the information, of course, do any little questions you have in there. But you'll go through everything in your slides. Once you're finished all 6, it'll vary from lesson to lesson. Okay, you can take some notes as well using your notes tab. You go through it all. Once you're finished going through it all, then you can go to the next section and it'll bring you to a quiz, an assignment, or the next lesson. So if this is your quiz, you can take your quiz. Okay, so you click on the quiz, opens up the quiz, you will answer your questions, multiple choice. I'm not even reading the questions, so these could be all wrong, but you'll read the questions slowly and think about your answers, collect all your answers. I'm going to skip a couple so you can see what happens if I skip them, and I'm going to submit my quiz. If you skipped some answers, it will tell you you have 2 unanswered questions. Do you want to submit it anyway? No, I don't. I want to go back in and finish my quiz. And now you've noticed the submit quiz goes green and you could submit your quiz. All right. So I scored 4 out of 8. All right. So it shows you which ones you got incorrect. And if you want to take it again, you can. So it shows you the incorrect ones and it shows you the correct ones. You get 2 attempts on your quizzes. So you're allowed 2 attempts. So you can take the quiz again. But I don't really know the answers to these ones I got wrong. So what I would do is go back and review my lesson and make sure I make some notes and I learn the information rather than just going in and chancing it again. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go back to my modules. So you'll keep doing that. You'll work through all your lessons all the way down. You can see that a lesson is this link, a quiz is this rocket, and you have assignments. They're this piece of paper. I'm just going to click on an assignment so I can show you that as well and how that works. Oh, okay. Because I'm a test student, I don't have access, but you should have the document. It'll appear here. If it's not, tell your teacher and you can't see it. If this comes up for you, contact your teacher and they'll make it available. Because this is a test account, it's a little bit different. But usually your document will appear here and you can just type in your answers into the assignment. Let me see if I can find another one that is open. It may not be. No, I'll try it in a different course in a minute. Okay, so that's your courses. You'll work through that every day. And as I said, on the pacing guide, it will tell you on the 20th of April, you should be working on lesson 107 and assignment 108. So it'll tell you everything. Now, you also want to be checking your grades and make sure that you're on track and you're doing really well. So to check your grades, you'll just click on grades. It'll show you a list of all your assignments, and it'll show you the date that they're due. When you've scored a quiz, which I've just done there, it comes up here and it shows you 4 out of 8. I was late doing it because it was due on the 20th and I've only done it 20th of February. I've only done it today, so it's come up as late. The late doesn't mean anything. It doesn't affect your grade. It just tells you that you submitted it late. But don't worry about the label. It doesn't affect your grade or anything like that. It also shows you if you're missing assignments. So you can see that all these assignments were due earlier in the year and I didn't do them. So now they're missing. And you will notice that zeros will come up here for missing assignments. Okay? So usually they'll come up, again, test student is not showing. But for you, if you miss an assignment, it will come up there as a 0 and that will bring down your grade. Okay? So you need to make sure that you're completing. Oh, there we go. They're already in here. You're completing your assignments on the right days, on track, on time, and you're getting your grades. Down the bottom, it shows you your total grade, but it also shows you up here at the top as well, your total grade. So this student isn't doing too well in their social studies, so they need to catch up, work extra time to make sure they get all their lessons completed. If you get this automatic 0 because you've missed an assignment, don't worry, you can go back at any stage through the semester and complete the assignments and get the grades. If you don't go back and complete it, however, it will stay 0 and your grade will stay low. So you do need to go back and complete all the assignments. Okay? Now I'm just going to pop in here to the physical science course for 8th grade to see if I can, again, all the courses are set up the same way. So they have the home page with the information of the teacher. You have your modules, you have your grades. So where am I going? I'm going to go into modules and see if I can find you an assignment that opens for me. But it might not, so we'll have a look. Okay, so there's 2 different types of way you can submit us an assignment. So one of them will come up on the screen and you just type straight in there. Others, you'll have to download the assignments. You can click here to download the assignment, fill it in at home, scan it back in or save it to your computer. If it's a Word document, you can just save it to your computer and submit the assignment here. So you submit the assignment by browsing your files, picking your file, and sending it in here. Okay? The submit assignment. Nice and easy. And especially for middle school, if you have essays and pieces of long assignments that you spend a lot of time on, set up a folder on your desktop and save your work. Because, you know, we are working online and sometimes it doesn't go through. You need to have a saved copy so you can just send it again. Okay? All right, I think that is everything. So let's just go back to the slide so I don't miss anything. Let me just check the chat box. Perfect. Yes, if you have questions, pop them in the chat box. So this is our calendar. We talked a little bit about that already. So what do you do first? Start working on your lessons, go into your classroom, click on modules, and start on the first lesson. Complete your lessons in order. This is a recommendation. Do them in order so that way you're not skipping anything, you're not jumping around, and you're not getting those zeros because we don't want the grade to fall. Okay? Also, I mentioned already that you are allowed 2 attempts in your lesson assessments, which is brilliant. But there is one exception to the rule, and that is your semester assessment. You only get 1 attempt in your semester assessment. So just make sure that you're ready for that one, you're prepared, you've reviewed, you've taken your notes, and you only get 1 shot on that one. For the attempts, if you take 2 attempts, it is your last attempt that is counted towards your grade. So just be aware that it's not the highest attempt, it's the last attempt. Okay? And if you're sending in work to your teacher like an essay or a written document, you can review that with your teacher and resubmit as well for a higher grade, which is brilliant. What if you just started school? Will this previous assignments affect your grade? So if you just started with us today, it's a fresh, clean slate. So you'll be starting fresh today. You won't have missed anything, exactly. You won't have any previous assignments because you're just starting day one today. Yeah, there's two different types of assessments, Ellie. You have a quiz or you have a written assignment. So that might like be an essay or an experiment sheet that you have to fill in. So you've written, so a quiz is always multiple choice, but then you also have written assignments. So there's two types. Great. Okay, so we kind of looked through all these already. I just have the slides here so I don't forget anything. Okay, this slide is really important. We are working online now, and you know, there has to be a lot of trust between the teachers and the students. But we do, not often, but sometimes we come across plagiarism. I'm not sure if you've heard of the word plagiarism before, but it's basically copying or cheating, and we don't allow that. So you need to make sure that any work you send into your teacher is in your own words. It is not taken from the internet. It's not taken from online school books or lessons that you're doing here in the online school or course guides, things like that. It has to be your own words, like normal, in a normal brick and mortar school. If you're doing some research and you're taking your own notes, fine, but you cannot just go online and just change a couple of words because our software will pick up on that and they'll see you basically copied it, you just changed a few words here and there. If you're taking a quote and you quote it, absolutely fine. Because I know in English and language arts, you'll be doing that. You'll be quoting different things and quoting books. Perfect. And your teachers will help you with that as well and how to take it appropriately and quote it properly so that it's not copying, it's just quoting. Absolutely. But yeah, so if you're using a book as a research tool and you want to just change it into your own words, that's okay too. All right, and your teachers will work with you to make sure, because I know this is something that you'll get better and better at as you go up through middle school and high school. But it's just something to be aware of, okay? It does get picked up on. We do have software that triggers if something, big chunks are taken from somewhere else, all right? And you will, there is consequences to this. You will fail your assignments. You'll be given zeros and you might not be able to, if you know, if it's something that happens more than once, you might not be able to retake the quiz. So it'll bring down your grade and we don't want that. Right? All right, keep the questions coming. Loving the questions in the chat box so far. They're great. Okay, so the grading scale. Oh, just to mention again, you should not be modifying what you take from the internet. Yes, your work should be completely 100% your own words. Absolutely agree, unless you're quoting an exact quote in the correct format with quotation marks and referencing. Okay. All right, so our grading scale. How do you get your grades? So in your assignments and your quizzes, if you score between 90 and 100%, you get an A, 80 to 89% is a B, 70 to 79% is a C, 60 to 69% is a D, and anything below 60% is a fail, okay? So just so you know what your grading scale is, and your points for the overall score for your course in the semester is based on the average between quizzes and assignments for the whole semester, okay? Can you get over 100%? No. 100% is the max score you can get in your assignments. Be nice if you could get over it, but no. Maya, would you say online school is harder than regular school? I would say they're pretty much the same. The only difference that might make online school a little bit harder is that you need to motivate yourself. So Maha, you need to make sure you're up in the morning, you start at a regular time, and you're ready to go and you plan your day. Whereas in a normal school, you have teachers planning your day. So you need to just make sure you're motivated and independent, and with the help of your learning coach, of course, who's your parent or tutor. But yeah, that's probably the only difference. You need to be a little bit more independent. Okay, so most of our materials are online. The majority of it is all online and all the content is online, but there is a couple of books you might need for language arts. So just make sure you reach out to your teacher and ask them if there's any books you need to maybe order and have at home, and they'll be able to send you the list. So it's mainly language arts that has those extra materials. There might be one or two novels that you might need to source. I think one per semester. So your teacher can give you the exact information for that, but it's a good idea just to ask them about it. Okay. Actually, just on that, I don't think we have anybody coming from 5th grade to 6th grade this year. I think everybody with us here today is new, coming into 6th grade semester B. But for anybody who's with us, and if you're staying with us for next semester, you have to finish your courses within the semester. If you fail a course within the semester, you have to repeat the course before you can move to the next course. So that's something to be aware of as well, which is really important. If you don't pass the course with us, you have to repeat it before you can move to the next one. So how do you make sure you're passing your course? Well, complete all your quizzes and assignments and keep your grade average above 60%. The only reason your grades will drop below 60% is usually because you're missing or skipping assignments and you're getting those zeros. So just watch that, okay? There's no progress requirement for the course. You just need to complete the course to 100%. You need to complete all the quizzes and all the assignments to keep your grade up. Okay, the attendance is monitored by the system. Learning coaches or students, you don't need to enter anything. All the time you spend online working on your courses is monitored by ourselves. It's already automatically monitored. So how do you keep on track and get a good grade? Well, you use your 90-day calendar and your pacing guides. Stay on track. Submit your work to your teacher. Do not skip around in lessons or skip assignments because you get zeros. And attend live helps and class connects if you can. But really importantly is to contact your teacher and let them know if you're struggling or if you have any questions. Because you're working at home, the teacher doesn't know how you're feeling or if you're struggling, and they don't know how to help you. So just reach out to your teachers and chat with them as much as you can, okay? No, you don't need a 100% score to get your grade. To pass, you need 60% or higher. Okay, but you do need to try and attempt all your lessons because any lesson or quiz you don't take gets a 0, which will bring down your grade. All right. So sometimes in our middle school course students, they are taking a high school grade. Is anybody taking a high school course? Excuse me. Is there anybody here today taking a high school course? I don't think we have anybody taking high school courses this semester, but sometimes if you're in middle school but you're taking one high school course, there's slightly different requirements for high school. So if you're taking a high school course, just reach out to your teacher and ask them about the extra requirements. But I don't think we have anybody taking high school courses this semester. Joseph, that's a really good question. Why is it called a 90-day calendar? Normally, our semesters are 90 days. And actually, that's really good for this group because for April, our semester is actually 75 days. So for you, it should be a 75-day calendar. But it's just habit that I'm calling it a 90-day calendar. But if you go into your pacing guide, you'll see it's called 90-day pacing guide. It's actually 75-day pacing guide for you guys. But you'll see everything in there. Okay. Fatima, you will still have credit for that high school course that you took in public school, and that will show up when you get to high school. But no, it doesn't. It doesn't matter for now. Last day of school is the 3rd of August. That's a good question too. Yes, Yusuf, you have 75 days of studying, exactly. So apologies, I'm saying 90 days out of habit, but you guys have 75 days. Yes, until the 3rd of August. And your courses are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you fall a little bit behind, you can always do a little bit of work at the weekends to catch up. Okay. Really good questions. I'm going to just pause because I see people typing and I'd like to answer any questions before we go on. Do we have a longer school year because we started later? I'm not fully sure, Mayor, what you mean. It's a longer school year this year, yes, because you started later. You're starting in April. So it's a different kind of school year. Is it a 7-day week? No. You can work 7 days a week if you'd like, but you don't have to. I'm just saying it's available at the weekends. The courses are everything online is still available 7 days a week, but you don't have to work at the weekends if you don't want to. Of course, if you're doing your normal days and you're following the pacing guide, you do your normal 5-day week and you take your weekends off. I'm just saying if you fall behind and you want to do a little bit extra, you can work at the weekends if you want. You don't have to. Okay? Yes, as Mr. Hurst said, it's flexible. It's your choice. I know some students like to get ahead, so they want to finish earlier, so they have a bit more of a summer break. So they might work at weekends to catch or to get ahead. And that's okay too. You don't have to stay with the pacing guide. You can go ahead and get ahead of it if you'd like. Even better. You need to you need to complete all the classes in your online lessons, so in those modules that I showed you, but you don't need to go to all the class connects. They're extra. Okay. Yusuf, next year we have different start dates, so you can start at different times for us. We're a little bit different than a regular school in that way. So you can start at the end of August, you can start in September, whatever suits you. You can start in October, and we have different start dates, but you follow your plan for different starts. Okay. Loving the questions, guys. So, Hassan, if you do if you do tomorrow's work today, and then you don't have anything left tomorrow, you can go on to the next day. You can get ahead. But yes, if you get ahead, then you might be able to take an extra day off. Yes, you're in control of your timetable as long as you complete all the lessons. And this is only online, exactly. We do have a center in Dubai where students can go and work with the help of our physical teachers there, but obviously that's closed at the moment because of the coronavirus. So everything is online for this semester. And Mr. Hurst made a good point for Mayor. That you're starting at a normal start date. So this is the beginning of a semester. So this is not the middle of a semester. It's the start of the semester. Everybody here today is starting day 1 today, and you work for the next 75 days. It's different, Yusuf. It depends. Some people like the center because they have the teachers there to kind of help them stay on track. Some people like the independence and the flexibility of being online. Even in the center, you do the online courses, so it depends. It depends on what you need. Every student is different. All right. Do classes usually last an hour? That's a really good question. If it's an online class connect, then yes, they usually last about 50 minutes to an hour. If it's the lesson in the online school in your modules, it depends. I would say roughly an hour, yes. But some might take you a little bit longer, some might be a little bit quicker. If you're really good at one subject, it might be a faster subject for you, and then other subjects might take a little longer. But we normally say about an hour per subject every day. Good question. If you don't understand something in your subject, then you need to meet with your teacher and go through it. So you can meet in a live help, or you can ask for a one-to-one with her or him, and you can have time with your teacher and they'll help explain it. Or you can watch a recording from a Class Connect or go to a Class Connect and where they explain the topics. Yeah, so you just go to your teacher and they'll help. Sadiq, if we start with you today, so you're starting with us, yes, and then after 75 days you want to change schools. If you want to change schools after 75 days, then you just get your report card and you can get a transfer certificate and move to a new school. Really quite simple. Which is great. Okay, so I'm going to keep going with the slides, keep the questions coming in the chat box. They're really, really good questions and are really helpful for everybody. So I just have a couple of questions to make sure you're listening. Can you remember who grades your graded assignments? The work that you send in through your class or through your lesson, who grades it? Does the online middle school automatically calculate the grade? Do learning coaches are the people at home helping you, do they grade it? Do your academic advisors grade it? Or do your subject teachers grade it? Who grades the graded assignments? The answer is polling tool. I forgot about the polling tool. We'll do it on the next one. The answer for this one is the subject teachers. So it's the subject teachers who are going to grade your graded assignment. So any written assignment that you submit will be graded by your teachers. They'll mark out where you went wrong, what you did right, and they'll give you some feedback on your assignment, just like you handing in your copybook to your teacher in a regular school. If it's a quiz, it's graded by the system. So it's graded by the online school. So that's the difference. If it's a quiz, it's graded automatically by the online school. But if it's a graded assignment, a written assignment, it's graded by the subject teachers. Okay? All right. What about the next question? And I've set a poll for this one. What is the best and easiest way to reach your teacher? Is it A, by shouting, B, Google Chat, or C, do you need to contact your teacher? What do we think? It is B. So most people got that one right. Well done. It's Google Chat. It's the easiest and most convenient way of contacting your teacher. Very good. Well done. And our last question. I'll start another poll. A, B, C, D. What happens if I do not get a grade I am happy with in my lesson quiz? So you've taken a quiz online, you're not happy with the grade. What can you do? Can you retake the quiz in the online system? Can you meet with your teacher to review the lesson or unit? Can you call into a live help session? Or can you do all of the above? What do you think? The answer for this one is D. So we had 50-50. And actually, anyone who said A is not wrong because it's all of them. You can take the quiz. If you take the quiz and you're not happy with your grade, but you know where you made your mistake, you can go back in and take it again. If you're not sure, you want to review it, you can do that as well. Or if you want to go and talk to your teacher in a live help, you can do that as well. So it's all options are good ones. Oh, sorry guys, I'm missing my thing. Okay, very good. So let me just check the chat box in case I've missed anything. Yes, so today we're doing orientation. Right now we're doing orientation, but afterwards you can start working on your lessons. So just pick a subject, go in and start working on module 1, first lesson. Yes, Corey's answered, Mr. Corey has answered Fatima's question. If you do your high school diploma with us, you can go to university or colleges after that, absolutely, and we can give you more details on that if you wish. You can just reach out to your academic advisor and they can gather some information for you. Okay. All right, so just before we finish up, I just want to remind everybody that we are here to help, and your teachers are online and they are away from you, but they are also here to help you. And if you don't let them know that you're struggling or if you have a question, they're not going to know. So you need to work with them, right? You guys need to be independent, confident students who reach out to your teachers just even to say hi, get to know them. They're all really, really nice and they will help you as much as they can, okay? So don't be afraid to reach out to them. Do you have assignments every day? Probably most days, Maya. Maya. There might be some days that you mightn't have some of the courses, but in general, I'm going to say yes. Probably most days you'll have an assignment. Check your pacing guides, they will tell you. How many assignments a day? You probably would have one for each course. So if you're taking your 4 core courses, you'd have 4 a day. Some might be short, some might be long. It does depend on the lesson and the topic. So yeah, the easiest thing to do would be check all your pacing guides today, go into each course and download them, and that will be the easiest way to see what's your plan for the rest of the semester. If you use a calculator in math, I think your teacher will give you your guidelines for what you can use your calculator for in math. So just ask your math teacher that. So ask Ms. Bush. In general, you'll need to show you're working out. So for example, if they give you a problem and you just say the answer is 500, you'll get some marks for 500, but you'll lose marks because you haven't shown how you got that. So you'll need to show you're working for your math problems, and that's where you get some of your marks. Yeah, so as long as you show you're working out, that's okay. But again, your math teacher will give you all the guidelines there. All right, so the very last couple of minutes, I just want to run through the KHDA subjects. If you're not registered with the KHDA, you can finish up now, but I just have a couple of slides for anybody taking KHDA subjects. The KHDA subjects are your Islamic studies, Arabic studies, moral education, and UAE social studies. So for anybody who's a full-time student and a UAE resident, you would probably be most likely registered with the KHDA and taking these subjects, okay? If you don't take them, that's fine. That's no problem. You are finished. You can head away if you'd like, or you can wait till the end. That's up to you. But for anybody who is taking them, I just want to remind you that they are mandatory courses and you must go to the Class Connect for these courses. Now, these courses are run slightly different to our other courses because they're run by the ministry. So the books that you will get online for these courses are written by the ministry. We don't have any control in those, okay? Also, because these courses are run throughout the year, you might need to go back and listen to some of the recordings. And the teachers will give you all the information you need to know about where to find those recordings and what you need to do. So your teachers will be in touch with you about everything you need to do to finish off the KHDA courses, okay? And they run right up till the end of May. So these courses are on a slightly different timetable, okay? The attendance will be monitored by your teachers and it will be sent to the ministry along with your grades. And the grading for the KHDA subjects is a little bit different. It's a pass-fail system. So anything above 60% is a pass, anything below 60% is a fail. And you need to pass your 3 KHDA subjects, a minimum of three KHDA subjects. Not everybody will be taking Islamic studies. to move to the next grade. So that's really important that you're passing your KHDA subjects as well. As I said, they're separate to iAcademy courses. You will not see the modules in the course card like you did for your other courses, but you will be given books and a different kind of setup by your teachers. All right. Your teachers, as I said, will explain everything you need to know about these courses, including logging your attendance. All right. So that's just a little introduction to your KHD courses. As I said, your subject teachers for those 3 or 4 courses, depending on how many you're taking, will go through everything there. If you're not registered with the KHDA, so you might live outside of the UAE, that's fine. You don't need to worry about these courses. So Sadiq, yes, you're an American resident, so you don't take these because you're not a resident in the UAE. That's okay. You can keep working with your... That's fine. Sadiq, if you're not planning on going to school in the UAE, then you don't need to take them. But if you are schooling in the UAE and you want to move to a different school in the UAE, you do need to take these. Yeah, so Yosef, you're in Morocco, nice. So you don't need these either. Okay, so yeah, everybody's a little bit different when it comes to the KHDA subjects. You'll have gone through that with enrollment. If you feel you should be taking them, ask your academic advisor and they'll check it out and just make sure, everything is what it should be. If you don't want to take them again, you can also talk to your academic advisor. But the only thing is, if you want to change schools in the UAE, you need to have them. And of course, you might have exemptions for different ones as well, like mayor. Perfect. All right, so that is us. That is our orientation done. I'll stay around for a couple of minutes. If you have questions, feel free to keep popping them in the chat box and I'll answer all your questions. But if you are happy and you want to get stuck into your lessons, you are free to go. Thank you so much for coming today. It really is nice to have such a enthusiastic group and you all participated and worked really well together. So that's been a great start. So I want to wish you some good luck in your first day of school. Try and get some lessons done today so you can kind of settle in. But I'm sure you'll have a great semester. Take care. And great question, Jessica. How do you leave? To leave, in the top right-hand corner, you'll see 3 dots. If you click on the 3 dots, it says log out down the bottom. So you can just pop on that. All right, guys, take care. Have a good week. Bye-bye.